Gary, lead us in.
Prem table predictions, baby. Let's fucking go. Okay. No.
Who do you have 20? The worst team in the Prem next year. Who do you have?
I've got West Brom. I
What?
really don't have much belief in West Brom to succeed in the Prem, especially after their season in the championship. They got second in the championship. They're coming up, automatic promotion. Fair enough. You're coming into the Prem with Charlie Austin as your point of focus in the attack. I don't believe they're going to survive. I don't think there's enough goals in that team. I feel like there is a center back. His name's Ajayi. He's a bit of a stud, but I don't think that's enough to keep them in the Prem for another year. I think West Brom are going down, and they're going down in last place.
I mean, I have them going down, but I have them at 18th. I have them like just missing out. For me, 20 is Villa. I don't think Villa is good. They didn't do anything really in the offseason in the transfer window. Villa's just it's the classic Villa. They're just never going to be good enough. I mean, I'm not going to say never, but right now they're just not good enough. They don't have the managerial backing. They don't have the player backing. I think they're probably the worst team in the Prem, in my opinion.
We agree with 2 over relegated, 3 at this point. I also agree Villa are going down. I have Villa in 18th, so it's funny we have a bit of a swap there. But when you think about this Villa team, they have a bunch of good internationals. They have Samata. They have Mahmoud Trezeguet. But if you look at what that got them last season, it got them just about survival due to the refs first off making a massive missed call where that ball was clearly across the line against Sheffield United, and they made it through. Then they survived by the skin of their teeth because of that.
Right.
So I think this is going to be Dean Smith leading the boys straight back into the championship after one season of survival in the Prem. I agree. Aston Villa should be going back down.
So from that, where do you think Jack Grealish goes?
Jack Grealish is an interesting case. I'll agree with you on that.
Because he's not playing in the championship. He deserves to be in the Prem.
Jack Grealish is a Premier League quality player.
Right. I don't think Villa's staying.
I think Manchester United makes a lot of sense, but
do they?
I also could see him getting snagged up in the winter transfer window if shit hits the fan by then for them.
I like that. I think he would actually be really good at Arsenal, but
fair enough.
That's for a later date, I guess. We can see.
Yeah.
We can visit that once Villa are shit in the bed, I guess.
Yeah, fair. 19th.
My relegation team is Fulham.
Yeah, so we have the same relegation 3. We just have to order a little bit different.
Yeah.
I agree. Fulham is not good enough to be in the Prem. This is basically the same team that got relegated 2 seasons ago. I don't see it ending differently.
That Fulham team was like one of the worst Premier League teams in history. So I just don't see them coming back and doing anything different. Their best players, John Michael Sarri, maybe Mitrovic.
Jean-Michael Sarri is no longer there.
Where's he playing now?
Jean-Michael Sarri transferred back to Ligue 1. Wait, no, he's at Galatasaray.
Oh.
Yeah. Jean-Michael Sarri got out of there.
Good on him, then.
Yeah, Mitrovic is okay. Joe Bryan has really developed over the past year into an actually quality left back. He's, in fact, the reason they're up. He scored 2 in the playoff final against Brentford to send them up. I still can't see Fulham surviving. And I will agree that Fulham team from 2 years ago was disastrous to the highest of levels.
Yeah, they were.
It was more of I would say it was more of a financial disaster than anything. They spent big to try and reaffirm themselves as Premier League side. And when you fail, you're normally financially ruined for a long time. However, they're lucky to be back in the Prem now.
They are very lucky to be back. So yeah, those are our 3 relegation teams. I don't think it's very very hard to pick those 3. At least it wasn't for me.
Yeah, me either.
There, I just have. You go.
I would say let's breeze through 8th to 17th. I know these teams are going to get European football, so I would say they're less important. They'll survive.
Let's do 10 to 17 because I think the top 10 is actually pretty debatable.
Okay, fair. At 17, I have Brighton. I think they're going to survive just barely. I don't think that team's very good. I don't think it's Premier League quality. I do think it's better than the 3 that I have going down.
I have West Ham. I think they're going to survive by the skin of their teeth. They kind of always do. They're just like right there. Plus, what I've seen from Michael Antonio since the restart and Declan Rice, they have, Felipe Anderson, they have Jack Wilshere. I think they have enough to just barely make it, with Agabana, Yarmolenko. I think they have enough just to get there, but I don't think they're going to be, good by any stretch of the matter.
Yeah, speaking of West Ham, I have them at 16th. Yeah, just pretty much everything you said. They have individual talent. They've never been able to sew it together.
Right. I have Burnley at 16th.
I have Burnley at 15th. Out of curiosity, where do you have Brighton?
I have Brighton 13th solely because they're always known to have decent defense, and I think the decent defense will get you a decent placing in the Prem. People like if you have Trossard and was there? Don't they have a decent striker here?
No, Glenn Murray's gone. Oh, you're thinking Neil Mopay?
Yeah. So I think between Trossard and Maupay, I think they could squeeze to that 13 spot solely off defense though.
Yeah, there's definitely some goals in that team, but pretty much if any team scores 2 against them, they're not winning,
Right.
is how it normally works
I
with
think
them.
they'll win their most of their home games, but a lot of not most of their home games. They'll win probably 60% of their home games and then steal a couple on the road and lead them to 13th.
Winning 60% of their home games will get them top 10.
No way.
There's
This
19 home
is
games.
hard. Yeah, you're right.
Uh, they're not winning 60% of anything.
Yeah. But I think defensively they're decent enough to get 13th.
Yeah,
And
fair enough.
you'll see who I have 14th, 15th, and you'll see why I have them above them.
You were talking you had Burnley 16th?
Yeah, I have Burnley 16th, and then 15th I have Leeds, even though we
Okay.
hear that they were going to be 14th, but I squeezed one in there. Yeah, I think Leeds they've done good business in the transfer window, bring in Rodrigo. If they bring in DePaul, I think that actually brings them up challenging for top 10. Because I like Rodrigo DePaul. He plays for Unis. I like him a lot. So I think if they actually secure that signing, which they've been in talks with him, so I think if they secure that signing, I think that they could push for top 10. I think under Bielsa ball is decent football to watch, but I also think that Leeds will struggle not having fans in the stand. I
Yeah.
think especially with Bielsa ball, it takes a lot of encouragement it takes a lot of heart to play Bielsa ball. It's very pressing. So without fans, I think they're gonna come out of the gate strong, but I think they're gonna burn out really quick.
Yeah, I had Leeds slightly higher at 13. So my reasoning for that, while they brought in Rodrigo, he's a good player. But the problem is 5 goals from 32 games for Valencia. That's not the greatest return rate, especially when you look at what other people around his age are doing at other clubs. Well, the most gross example would be Timo Werner, but we'll get to that later. But Bielsa ball, I think, is good enough to keep them up. However, they are a bit slack at the back when you look at their defensive options, and you have to consider the fact
And they're
that
quite bad in the midfield as well.
yeah, a lot of these players are championship quality. Just
Right.
because Leeds is a historically big club doesn't mean you're going to just reaffirm your place in your first season back after bringing in some some decent talent. I think
Agree with that.
there is a it's a small chance, very small chance they get relegated back down. Because want to know another team who played really nice football? Norwich.
That is true. But I think with Norwich, what happened was Timu Puki just didn't score the goals that he was expected to.
Yeah, the goals definitely dried up for them. I'm just saying, Norwich played some great to watch football.
Absolutely.
and that got them last place.
That's true. But I think,
So,
if Leeds comes out and they press teams like Brighton, they press teams like Burnley, they press teams like Palace even, I think they could actually get points off of those teams, and I think that's enough to land them 15th. They're going to be close to relegation, but I think they'll survive, and I think they'll use that money to then try and cement themselves back into a Prem team.
you know what? Fair enough. Uh, let's do 15 down to 11. I just want the rankings, no more
Real
analysis
quick.
on these ones.
Okay, I have Newcastle 14th, Brighton 13th, Southampton 12th, Crystal Palace 11th, and yeah. Then do you want me to do 10 or do you want to wait?
One I have a bit different from you in that Sheffield. I feel like Sheffield is very vulnerable in this coming season. I think second season syndrome might hit them, and it might hit them hard. I don't think Sheffield is going to take people off guard the way they did in the first season. That being said, I do have them surviving fairly comfortably because that is a very good team, especially when you look at like John Lundstrom, McGoldrick, John Egan, and
But
stuff
you
like
have
that.
to remember they're losing Dean Henderson, which was
Yeah.
probably a top three player or top three goalkeeper in the Prem last season.
Yeah,
So
true. That's
you,
why I have them in the bottom half. But according to this, you have them top half.
I have him at 10th.
Okay, fair.
So yeah, he's right there. But
Yeah, I've got them at 12. They brought in Ramsdale from what was it, Bournemouth to cover up the loss of Henderson.
yeah, but I don't like Dean Henderson was one of the best
Yeah, no doubt.
goalkeepers in the league last year. So I don't think it's definitely going to be a loss for them. So I have them at 10th, but I definitely could see them dropping lower. But I still take them over, teams like Palace, Southampton, Brighton, Newcastle, Leeds. That's why I have them at 10th.
Okay, let's do 10 down to 1. Go ahead.
I have Wolves at 9. I have Tottenham at 8. I have Leicester at 7. I have Arsenal at 6. Everton at 5. United at 4. Chelsea at 3. Liverpool at 2nd, and City winning the league.
Uh, I think we have the same roster in the top 10. However, I have it slightly different. I have Leicester at 9. I think playing those extra games in Europa might be a detriment to them down the stretch. Wolves at 8. I think they're going to enjoy not having to play all those extra games.
Yeah, I agree.
Spurs, I think they brought in good signings. I don't think that's good enough to put them back in the top 5 or top 4 for that matter. I have Everton at 6. I think there is a chance that they disappoint us like they did last season, although it's not disappointing to me to watch Everton lose. I actually like it quite a lot as a Liverpool fan.
Everton was my risky pick here, but I have them at 5th because one, they have Ancelotti. It's their second season with Ancelotti, and he's one of the best managers of all time, and you have to
Yeah,
put
he's top tier.
and they're bringing in good signings in James Rodriguez, who Ancelotti loves, and James Rodriguez has played his best football under Ancelotti, and they bring in Allen, who has been very good for Napoli, and they also just brought in someone else, didn't they?
Abdoulaye Decor.
Yeah, from
He's a stud.
yeah. So I think there's gonna they need to find goals from Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, right? Lewin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they need to find their footing. I think if Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin can, put in those goals, I think they can be top 5 and they can push for that Europa League spot. But they're not top 4 by any means. But I don't have them winning the Everton Cup this year.
Yeah, I know. I have Spurs winning the Everton Cup, man. That's 7th place.
Yeah, I have Leicester winning the Everton Cup.
Yeah, it is what it is. I still have Leicester slightly declining due to Europa, and
Yeah.
Spurs made Europa, which is weird.
I have Spurs. I have Spurs 8 because one, it's Jose, and we don't know, and although they brought in a couple signings in Doherty, which I like that signing from them, but I don't think Hoiberg is going to elevate them in the attack to any point that's higher than eighth. Although if Harry Kane stays healthy, he looked really good under Jose in his first matches. So if he can stay healthy, I can see them pushing for like a Europa League spot. Especially if Everton's not playing well and Leicester's not playing well, and we never know what to expect from Arsenal. So really, Tottenham could be fifth or sixth. But we don't know. My two big question marks are Everton and Arsenal, and I'm betting on Everton because of Ancelotti, and I have Arsenal at six because I think Aubameyang is going to absolutely go off this year, um, because of the way Arteta has him playing. Um, but yeah, so
I
that's up
disagree.
to
I disagree with you about the order of Everton and Arsenal. I have Arsenal hitting fifth. I think Arsenal have actually shown a lot of promise under Mikel Arteta. They've
yeah.
beat us twice, which not many teams beat us, period. So beating us twice is impressive.
Right.
Uh,
They beat us in the FA Cup final, Chelsea.
sorry, Liverpool's my us. Us for Taylor's Chelsea.
Yeah, they beat Chelsea in the FA Cup. I mean, they've looked decent under Arteta, and what signings have they made? I'm
Gabriel Magalhaes from
right,
Lille, which
a
is center back.
young center back, which I like that signing, but I don't know if it like elevates them much.
I don't know either. But the problem is he's young. Okay, Brazilian isn't a perk when it comes to defenders, but he's Brazilian. But he also had a decent season over at Lille. So who knows? It's
They're
always Arsenal's
so yeah,
weakness is their defense.
yeah.
So I, they're always going to struggle there. So I think
Who do
those
you
two are a bit disposable.
who do you
Four.
top four? Top four.
My top four is in this order from fourth to one. I have United fourth, Chelsea third, City second, Liverpool first.
Yeah, so we have the
And
top
that's because I'm
same top four, except I have City winning.
yeah, fair enough. I mean, I feel like this season's going to be up significantly closer than last season,
Hmm.
which isn't hard to do. But Man City have made signings.
Yeah,
We
that's my only.
haven't really done that.
My thing with this whole City Liverpool thing here is City have signed, Fernan Torres. They're looking to sign Koulibaly. They're making these changes that they're addressing their weaknesses, where Liverpool has, turned up their nose on Werner. They're making it hard to sign Thiago. They're just not addressing, the small weaknesses they have, where City is just, going all out for it. And so I
Yeah,
think that gives them that like slight edge on it. And also, I don't know if it really, what the actual attitude in the dressing room is, but I feel like Liverpool, they finally won that elusive prem that they were looking for. So I don't
mhm,
know if it's that same, like deep breath. Okay, we're done. It's they
yeah,
don't. I don't. Hopefully they have that professional drive, but it's maybe not. You know.
yeah. I think there's a chance that they decline a little bit. They're still a top four team, no matter what.
Absolutely.
But I can see a very real scenario where they don't win the title this year. I think City is significantly stronger than they were last year. I don't think we are. I think if Robertson has to play 38 again, I don't think that's going to end well. Uh, but we're going to learn a lot in the first couple of weeks of the Prem. We always do.
Yeah, 100%.
If
What's your
City are just the killers they've always been, then yeah, they can definitely be winning the
only
title
add
yet again.
depth, and they're looking to sign Koulibaly, and they added Nathan Ake. Like I I just think like the not one of the main reasons, but I think something that helped Liverpool win the title from last year was when John Stones and Laporte went down with the injury. That's really when that huge gap really opened up. And
Yeah,
now they have Ake to step in. And if they sign Koulibaly, he can step in. They have João Cancelo. that can step in at center back. I just think that they have more options where they were the weakest. And so I think that might propel them over Liverpool here.
Fair. I think the biggest wild card, however, in this top four is just how good will Chelsea be?
Yeah. And if we can sign a center back
Yeah, that too. But
and a
if you
goalkeeper.
look at Chelsea, what they've done this summer is ridiculous.
And for the amount of money we've done it for,
Yeah.
like
Like,
Havertz was our most expensive. We've just hit over the 200 million mark, but we brought in players like Timo Werner, Hakeem Ziyech, Kai Havertz. We brought in Sarr. He'll probably go out on loan,
yeah.
but still a
Thiago
very
Silva.
Thiago Silva on a free. Ben Chilwell. Like we've solidified a lot. I think if we can get another goalkeeper, which we're in talks with Donnarumma, which I think would be a brilliant signing. If we bring in Donnarumma, I think we challenge for the title, honestly. And I think if we bring in another center back, he doesn't even have to be like world class, as long as he's just upper tier. I think we challenge for that title.
I think, hell, even Tomori, Zuma, I think pairing them with Thiago Silva and sort of Thiago Silva, like teaching
Being that
Tomori a little bit,
right.
like mentoring Tomori, I think that could work wonders.
Oh,
So
yeah, between Tomori, Zuma, and Rudiger, I think we could have a really strong back line if Thiago Silva like brings it all together. If he's that leadership glue that we needed.
yeah,
I also think we need a goalkeeper. Like I think our next priority should be a goalkeeper.
that's the. I agree with you that Kepa was god awful last year, unforgivable almost. I would say though that if you give him a few more games, because he's a young keeper, if he gets just sort of tossed around, he's never going to recover from that.
True.
It might have just been an off season. Who really knows? But he did it over a representative sample. So I understand if you want to throw him in the bargain bin, just get him gone.
Right. But
But
like, if we can sign someone like Donnarumma, I'm 100% down for swapping that.
yeah, but goalkeeper is a very form based thing. Like De Gea
Absolutely.
has fallen off a cliff since the 2018 World Cup.
Hmm.
What he was to what he is now. So I think confidence, if Kepa can somehow regain his confidence from a 58% save percentage last year, I think he could be okay, a reasonably good keeper again.
I agree. What's your argument for United here?
They're just sort of the worst of these four, but better than everyone else, which is, yeah, why I have them fourth. But I think they've strengthened in some areas, but in others, they're just not that great. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come out and said that he wants to play Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, Donny van de Beek as a midfield three, which is as good of a midfield three as there is in the Premier League. I just
Who's playing as their
they,
number 6 though?
as the what? Sorry,
As their number 6 role? Like who plays that defensive mid?
that's what I'm wondering. I think Donny van de Beek is capable of doing that, but I think there's a chance that he doesn't do it that great. He's better as being able to go up and down as a number 8.
Right. Van de Beek is a very like intelligent player. He's creative. So if you just tell him, "Hey, sit back," like what is that going to do to his form?
Yeah, it's fair. And if you look at United's, hell, even their attacking options compared to the rest of the top four, it doesn't. My projected top four doesn't stack up.
Right.
Rashford's a good player. Martial's a good player.
Green.
Greenwood is one for the future,
Right.
but they're not better than. I wouldn't take that over Ziyech, Havertz, Werner, and Pulisic. I wouldn't take that over Mane, Mo, and Bobby. I wouldn't take that over Aguero, Sterling, Ferran Torres, whoever the hell they want to put up there.
Mahrez, yeah.
Mahrez, etc.
Silva, anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with.
So I think there's a chance the goals dry up for them. I think Arsenal is a challenge for this fourth spot, but I think United is better at just winning.
Right. I agree with that.
It also depends on whether or not Maguire's in jail.